Hi guys, welcome back to Tigre Gitana. There we go. My name is Abby and today we are doing the last weekly chakra healing reading for the week of 2018. Today is the last day, but it is also the beginning, so it's the first reading of the new year, so it's fun stuff. So we kind of have a lot of interesting stuff astrologically happening as well, because Mars will be moving into Aries. So we're starting off the year with that push that we needed, that we've been kind of building towards. If you guys remember me saying that December is usually a very much like a planning time, a strategic time for like Capricorns, and how we manipulate our goals, and we really sit down and think about what are we going to invest in moving forward, how we're going to be spending our time and such. So it's been like that for a hot minute. That's what we've been doing in December, and Mars being in Pisces really helped to help us dream up that dream world a little bit, and really think about what it is that we want to do moving forward. And now that Mars is moving into Aries, it's all about the destination now, and it's like cardinal. It's the cardinal points, astrologically speaking. You will feel a push to do something, anything, but there will be that kind of like adrenaline high that you're gonna kind of notice this week, especially as we build to the first eclipse of the year, which is also in Capricorn. So lots of fun stuff happening. Personally speaking, I'm really excited that I'm starting off with a solar eclipse in my sign this year. That sounds like a fun time, especially 3 days before my birthday. So yeah, fun stuff. But let's start off with this week. What is our blockage for our root chakra this week? What is our blockage? Ooh, okay. We have the 6 of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, the Knight of Wands. Yeah, that's like that Mars moving into, that's exactly what I just said, but okay. Especially because the bottom of the deck right now is the Moon, and that's Pisces. How can we best heal our root chakra this week? How can we best heal our root chakra this week? How can we best heal our root chakra? Ooh, hold it. I did all types of backflips. Boom, 6 of Swords. First one out the gate. 2 sixes. One, very dreamlike, very emotional. That's very much what a Pisces does. The answer would be to start moving forward with a clear head, not an illusion kind of head. That sound is the sound of the heater, for those who are going to be curious what it is. We best heal our root chakra this week. This is a very much go with the flow type of reading so far. Let's heal our root chakra. Wow. Okay. Then we have the 6 of Pentacles. So 2 sixes. Anybody noticing a pattern here? 2 sixes. 3 sixes in the root chakra actually, but 2 sixes. And the answer to one is the other. So we're going to talk about it. What is blocking our sacral space this week? Blocking our sacral space this week. Strength. Solar plexus again? Come on now. What's blocking our sacral space this week? That would be like the 2nd week in a row. Then we have Justice in reverse. Okay. 2 major arcanas in our sacral space. Interesting. How can we best heal our sacral chakra this week? Child. Okay. So we have the World, the 10 of Wands, and the 7 of Cups for our sacral space. So the Mars shift is gonna affect a lot of people. It's definitely gonna affect a lot of people, but I think the way it's gonna happen, it's kind of like you getting yanked from a dream. very quickly and forcefully. So it doesn't feel good, but that's what this week is gonna feel like. I'll call me best healers. Oh no, sorry. Put that back. What is blocking our solar plexus this week? What is blocking our solar plexus this week? Blocking our solar plexus this week. Okay. Hierophant. What is blocking our solar plexus this week? What is blocking our... Page of Wands. Okay. How can we best heal? Okay. How can we best heal? We got the High Priestess. Okay. There's a lot of manifestation that needs to go on this week. A lot of the intentions that are set, New Year resolutions and stuff like that, they're gonna actually be very powerful, especially if you practice spell work wise. They're gonna be actually very powerful when it comes to making a lot of shifts in regards to the root chakra and our journey. But we're gonna get to it. Hold on. We must heal our solar plexus this week. We must heal our solar plexus this week. We must heal our solar plexus this week. Okay. Wow, because that was funny because that was the bottom of the deck before. We got the Two of Cups and the King of Cups. Some people are definitely needing some sort of direction, like emotional direction. Like they need, you know, when you like in the movies when people when the hero has nothing to fight for, that's kind of really what it is looking like. It's kind of like you need something to trigger the action that the hero then takes. That's really what it is. Also, by the way, I do have the records open right now, so there's that. What is blocking our heart space this week? What is blocking our heart space? Did 3 flips. Hold up. Hold up. Ace of Cups, 4 of Pentacles. And then when I stopped shuffling, the Ace of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, and the 8 of Pentacles came up. So long term, you see what I mean about the hero needing a purpose? Some people are actually thinking family, creating a family, building a family is the answer, the drive, the push that they need in order to kind of make this, like they need that drive. They need that drive and they don't have that drive, so they're not doing anything right now. Okay, how can we best heal our heart space this week? Best heal our heart space this week. All right, so we got the Page of Pentacles in reverse and then the 4 of Cups in reverse. 2 reversals. Interesting. Okay, what is blocking our throat chakra this week? What is blocking our throat chakra this week? What is blocking our throat chakra? What is blocking our throat chakra? We have the 7 of Swords. There's a lot of things, like I feel like a lot of people are just being really reflective and it's making them think a lot of different things. Blocking our throat chakra this week. Yep. Knight of Swords, 8 of Swords, lots of swords in the swords department. Yeah. Want to best heal our throat chakra this week. Best heal our throat chakra this week. 5 of Swords. Best heal our throat chakra this week. Ace of Pentacles. Interesting. What is blocking our third eye chakra this week? What's blocking our third eye chakra this week? First card out, the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is always a card of Pisces to me. I mean, the Pisces energy is very much like it's illusion based. So obviously third eye illusions, it's kind of like the opposite because the third eye brings forth the truth. So it's kind of like some people are stuck in some illusionary dream spaces, but we are going to talk about it. Okay, what's blocking my third eye this week? What's blocking my third eye this week? Blocking my third eye. The devil. Hey. Some people have some really false views of their life, their actual world right now. It's not actual. It's not what it seems. It's not what it seems. Okay. How can we best heal our third eye this week? How can we best heal? Ooh, hold on. We have the Star, the Five of Wands, card of Destiny. Hold up. Hold up. Okay. Then we have the Tower, the Eight of Wands, and the Three of Swords. So these illusions are being kind of brought to the surface very, 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 very quickly. This might have something to do with the moon that is happening this week. It's gonna break some people's kind of, we're gonna talk about it, because that Capricorn eclipse is gonna be powerful. It's gonna be powerful as fuck. What is blocking our crown chakra this week? What is blocking? Ooh, okay. Hold on. That's coming out. Ten of Pentacles, the Magician, Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups, the Dream World that we, okay. She's been the bottom of the deck, the Queen of Cups, for a hot minute. Yo, that Pisces energy and that Venus and Scorpio energy is real. How can we best heal our crown chakra this week? How can we best heal our crown chakra this week? Seven of Wands. How can we best heal our crown chakra this week? And then the Lovers in reverse. Bottom of the deck, Three of Pentacles, Ten of Swords. Some people have been feeding some false lies and realities in here. Okay, so let's get started. So, for the root chakra, we have the Six of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Knight of Wands in our blockage. And this is very much moving from one energy to another, and it seems like we've been, or some of us have been, kind of caught up in the little dream world that has been created, or the illusions that have been created, whether by other people or by ourselves. That Mars in Pisces has kind of triggered some illusionary situations, whether you've been just caught in daydreaming, or you've kind of been seeing things the way they are actually not the way. And now that the energy is moving again, and you're actually getting kind of pushed into a direction, the reason why it's a blockage is because you can't move in an illusion. You end up breaking the illusion, and when you realize that it's an illusion, that hurts a lot, because it doesn't, you kind of have to accept, one, that it's not real. You have to accept that you kind of made it up to make yourself feel better. You have to accept that you will never have it, or possibly like you just spent your time. And remember, time is a key factor in Capricorn season. It's all about time. And when you realize that you have wasted your time kind of daydreaming about something that you not only do you not have, but there's kind of a high chance that you're not going to actually get it. It's not going to feel so good. And so our journey seems a little bit, the way the time moves, that Wheel of Fortune, doesn't necessarily feel good right now, because it's like, with Pisces energy, time doesn't exist. In the subconscious mind, in the dream world, time does not exist. And so when you're in a place where time doesn't exist, and you merge that in the real world where time does then exist, you kind of have to accept the time that you wasted pretending like it didn't exist, and it doesn't feel good, especially because the energy of the season is all about time. So there's there's a kind of a grounding that doesn't exist in the root chakra space right now. It's very much like disconnected. There's a no, but I'm living in water right now, and now I'm about to go into the fire. And then there's echoes of the earth calling you like, hey, but you need to get back to grounding. And that's that Capricorn energy, like, hey, you know, you need to really focus. And that's where it moving into Aries will kind of shift the direction a little bit if you let it. And that's kind of what we're being called to do here with the two sixes. We have the Six of Swords, moving mentally away, taking our emotions out of it instead of being in the water, kind of in the fantasy, in the subconscious mind, going to the conscious mind, riding along through the conscious mind, into the earth with the Six of Pentacles, and really looking at how we're being giving our time to, because the coins, see the time, that's the clock. So the coins, the pentacle suit, you ever heard the phrase time is money? That's one of the other keynotes of the pentacle suit, and the main focus of this card for this reading, it's how you're spending it. How are you spending your time? How is it benefiting you? And it's kind of like what you've been doing has not been benefiting you, and now you really kind of have to consciously let it go, and it's not going to feel good. So that's where the root chakras is at for this week. For the sacral space, we have strength in the blockage, and then justice in reverse. So there is something that doesn't feel right, something that feels like we've been wronged, maybe the illusion, we're like frustrated and feeling like we let it happen to us, like, why did it have to happen? Why couldn't you just get it? Like the questioning of the thing. And the more time you put into the questions that can't be answered because it was an illusion, the more time that you're wasting. So it goes back into the frustration part, and having to kind of pull yourself out mentally and say, you know, set the intention for the clarity that you need. With justice in reverse, this could be a Libra. With strength, this could be a Leo that has been causing this blockages. But taking the major arcana as it is, I really do feel like some people are really lacking strength right now in order to move. Again, it's when the sacral area is blocked, and then when the solar plexus is blocked, our will is blocked, and our power to manifest is also blocked. So then we're kind of stuck in this weird loop, and then we are neither strong, nor can we see the justice or what the universe has dealt to us, especially with this Wheel of Fortune. We cannot see that it's been trying to kind of put us in a direction. We can't see it. We're just kind of like stuck. And the thing about Capricorn season is that because we are karmic, we're ruled by the planet of karma. This is something that is very important to accept during this season. So the sacral chakra is blocked by the inability to accept the karma, the justice in the situation, whether there could have been it could have been generational trauma, it could have been family trauma, it could have very well be something that you are kind of paying for something that you did prior. But the answer and the solution is here, because we have the World, the Ten of Wands, the Seven of Cups. And that is, as much as it hurts and it pains you, because don't forget, the World is Saturn. So, as if I didn't mention it already, the World is Saturn. This is an end, this is a completion, this is the end of a cycle. This is an acceptance of a lesson. This is a step in your life which you had to integrate into yourself in order for you to not repeat it again. Then we have the Ten of Wands, which is really pushing through and making sure that you're not looking back and getting caught up in that lesson, but moving forward knowing that that it was a lesson, and that this Seven of Cups, that you're able to go into a new way and manifest, and that you're not going to get lost in that like illusionary Pisces kind of dream world, and not just, it could, for some of you, it might be a struggle to kind of get out of that dream space. But again, that Aries, that Mars into Aries shift is going to completely kind of recharge it, and you'll start feeling some direction moving forward. And that's really important, because you need to have a drive. You need to be able to move. And if you're still stuck, you need to, instead of making yourself stuck, you need to actually start moving, even if it hurts, even if you feel depressed. Again, I've been saying it for weeks. Capricorn season is one of the most depressing times for people, one of the most depressing times of the year for people. But it's about getting yourself in order. So get yourself in order so you do not have to repeat the lesson. Do you want to hurt about the same thing again? Ask yourself that. So for the solar plexus, we have the Hierophant, and the Page of Wands. The blockage really is the stabilization that comes with the Hierophant. There's something very much in the physical realm that you want it to have. That had something to do with, it's tangible. It's tangible because this is also the card of Taurus, but this is tangible. This is something that had to do with your journey that is very much an innocent step that you took. It could have been a love situation, because I do see a love situation on here, but it's kind of like wanting to get married or wanting something that's on, it's not necessarily money, but it's on the physical realm. Like, you can touch it, you can address it every day as part of your constant life. You continue to see this throughout this is something you see every day. This is a choice, whether it's to move into a bigger house with your family, whatever it was, is something that's very much grounding and in the physical realm. It interconnects with other realms. It's part of the journey, but it was also a very emotional thing. And the reason why this is in the blockage is because it didn't really happen the way you thought it was going to happen. So if this is something that you could have wanted your whole life, and at the end of the year, now that we're reflecting and doing all of these, kind of looking back and seeing how you spent your time, how it could have gone better, how you wish it would have gone, how you wish it would have turned out, and because it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, even though it was just a very innocent journey, a very innocent step that you took, you really did want this. Instead of seeing it as the journey and the lesson that it needed to be, it's almost like kind of some of you are having a midlife crisis for sure. There needs to kind of be a kind of shift in the mindset here. It's not always about, you shouldn't always want what everybody else, or the standards that society puts on what you need to have throughout your life. There's a lot of reason why millennials, and I really hate that word, even though I'm apparently part of that, why millennials are breaking a lot of the traditions and a lot of the social standards that, you know, the previous generations have set for us, because it just doesn't work. We figured out that it doesn't work. The journey that can't look the same. It can't. And the fact that we're still kind of, some people are still trying to follow that, even though you know to your core that it should be just a tad bit different. There's a lot of struggle with that right now. That's where the blockage is coming from. It's like, wait, I tried to do this the same way. It's supposed to work. This is what they say that we're supposed to do. This literally could have been like taking out a loan. This could have been like to go to school, but it didn't work out, and now you're like in debt and you're like struggling to pay it. It could be you getting the home. It could have been you marrying someone and you realizing that you don't actually love them, or like they don't love you, and it wasn't the right way. It doesn't feel right. There's something off about this journey that you went on, that you try to solidify with the ground, that you try to make real, that it's not working, and it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. There's a lack of, even though the Hierophant is a very spiritual card, there is a lack of spiritual connection on you spiritually when it comes to the solar plexus right now. And I can say that because the best way to heal that this week, we have the High Priestess, the Two of Cups, and then the King of Cups. There is a lack of connection, and it's about really going back and kind of spiritually connecting. Like, the first answer to the solar plexus is really about coming back into your power, going back to what you know, really doing a lot of self-healing, maybe getting some Reiki done, maybe seeing someone or getting a reading by someone who, like getting your yearly reading would be really good for this year, for a lot of you, because you guys should know what kind of energy you're playing with for the year. So this is like very much higher power, connecting to your higher self, type of energy that's kind of asking you like, hey, you've been trying to make this physical realm work for you, trying to bend it for you for so long, but you have not stopped to realize this is not the way you're supposed to make it happen. You can very much have these things, but you also need to have a balanced spirit in the process in order for you to achieve the type of connection that you want with whatever it is that you want, whether you want to connect to the earth more, whether you just want to feel loved, or want to feel appreciated, or really want to feel genuine, authentic connection with someone, something, whatever it is. You can feel that, but you need to master your spirit first, and that's what the King of Cups does. He's already mastered every emotional step. He's able to really move in an area where he's both emotional and spiritual. He works with his intuition. He moves through his intuition out of knowledge, out of what he knows, and there is a lack of it. So our willpower is shot because we are spiritually disconnected. And so because we've already drained ourselves so much, kind of making things seem like there's something that it is not, and really trying to make it work, but not accepting what our intuition was telling us, which is that it wasn't working. Now it's a time to accept the manifestations, the physical manifestations of the intentions that you have set before. That's really what I'm seeing, honestly. For the heart chakra in the blockage, we have, hold it, let me just turn this around somehow. We have the Ace of the Ace of Cups, the Four of Pentacles. So some of you guys are very stubborn, and I mean, the fact that the Hierophant came out, that's Tauruses are fixed energy. They're very stubborn. They do not let go easily. So I'm not surprised that some of you have not let go. And you know what? When Uranus goes back into Taurus, you're gonna have to shake that off. Like, if you keep trying to hold on to this for the remainder of the year, once March comes around and Uranus goes back into Taurus, ya is gonna be feeling it for the next 7 goddamn years. So I suggest ya let it go. We do have, so Ace of Cups, Four of Pentacles, then we have the Ace of Wands in the blockage, so which both 2 aces there, then the Queen of Pentacles, and then the Eight of Pentacles. So this is really something that you have put not only your emotional like energy into, but you also put your will into this this relationship, whatever it was. But it's very much, you put all of your, basically all your coins in one basket, and it didn't come out the way you thought it was gonna happen. You put a lot of work into it. You really try to ground yourself in this place, but it didn't physically manifest the way that you wanted it to. And listen, the best way to heal that, according to the cards, is the Page of Pentacles and the Four of Cups. So really addressing the things that the seeds that you've planted, and accepting the fact that you didn't get what you wanted. This is about accepting the fact that you didn't get what you wanted. It's really that simple. I cannot say it in any other ways. That is really the way to heal your heart space, because it's very much wounded, is accepting the fact that you did not get what you wanted. And you're not always going to get what you want. It's about replanting your seeds somewhere else. It's like we're born with bags of seeds, and you can either like sulk down at the one thing that didn't grow, that you nurtured and fed with all these things all year round, however long it's taking you to get to that point, but it never grew. Maybe the seed was bad. Maybe it was just not meant for you. Maybe like the signs were there and you just didn't want to accept it. And because it's gotten to this point, now it's really about letting go. And like that Venus in Scorpio, it's going to be in Scorpio for a hot minute before it switches to Sag. Till next week. Next week it switches to Sag. It's really, really necessary to let go right now, especially where we're at right now. It's time. It's actually, no, wait. Venus and Scorpio is probably, I think Venus and Scorpio, if I remember correctly, it switches this week. It's either this week or next week. I cannot remember that right now. But regardless of the fact, using the last bit and really using that Mars and Aries push to let go is completely necessary for this week, because there's just too much baggage that you cannot carry into the you can't carry this to next year. It's just not, no. It's just, that's just a no. For our third chakra, we have the Seven of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. So really something that, again, we really wanted this to move. But this isn't a blockage. This is something that's been running away with your thoughts. It's been taking up so much mental space to the point where you literally took that Mars and Pisces energy to create your own world where this would work out, but you kept finding yourself in a roadblock and restricted to it. And it's like, why am I restricted to this? Why am I restricted? Why am I restricted to this thing? Why can't I have this thing? Why? And the answer is really, you're not supposed to have it. That's not, there's other stuff that's meant for you. Best way to heal that this week, we have the Five of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. And it's really about planting a new seed, disconnecting and seeing how that's what it's caused to you. The pain has caused others, whether it includes others in the situation or not. Accepting what it is and taking the gift of the new year as a seed to plant something better, to speak with intention something better, something newer in your life, something that you've known, like you've been kind of getting hinted at, you've been getting kind of pushed towards that direction, but you haven't taken it because you've been trying to make this thing work so bad, but it has not been working because it's not meant for you. So it's really about letting go. Now, for our third eye in the blockage, we have the Page of Cups and the Devil. This is really, this week, the way that this is going to play out, and I'm going to say this again, because when Mars goes into Aries, you're going to kind of come out of the fog. And the Page of Cups can be a fog. That's that Pisces illusion energy. When you have the Page of Cups situation, it's like, yes, your intention was so innocent, your love was so innocent, it was pure. We get it. And you know what, even in as the Devil coming up in the blockage, this is Capricorn's kind of stubborn behavior into kind of wanting to control, wanting to manipulate the things, wanting to make it happen, striving, continuing to climb that mountain, because that's just what we do. But kind of having to accept basically the unavoidable. You can't avoid the fact that this is not meant for you. You have to just really assess a new mountain, assess what you want to do. Aries energy asks you to go on a journey. Capricorn asks you to go on a journey, but pick a direction, a clear one. Aries can go wherever it wants to and get there. But Capricorn is like, wait, but I want to work for this. This is something that I want. And yes, I understand that you've done it before, so why should you try again and all this stuff? But that's how life is. Some things are meant for you, and as the years goes by, you're going to need, your spirit is going to need new things. But it's about balancing both the spiritual world and the physical realm. Like, you need to balance. This needs to be in balance, not one overpowering the other, in a way that it doesn't make any sense. It needs to be a balance. And the best way to heal that this week, we have the Star, the Five of Wands, the Tower, the Eight of Wands, and then the Three of Swords. And this is really about accepting our wounds, accepting the way things happen, because the Tower is like, yo, it went down like this, and that's how that went down. And how did it go down? It went down very quickly. And a lot of you really are mentally just broken about it. But that the problem is that there's still a lot of drive. There's like that is either hidden or is still there, and you're very aware that there's drive, because the Star really not only connects us to the crown chakra, which means that they're within the third eye space. If you allow yourself to do the healing work, especially this week, you'll be able to connect yourself back to your journey, that fire, that thing that you want to fight for, whether it's yourself, your path, what you want to do, your passion, whatever it is. It's really about connecting to your journey. And by the time that we speak again, the the moon should be in Aquarius as well. So there is kind of a waiting for the weekend. Is going to be a very powerful time because we have the solar eclipse in Capricorn happening. So there is a really good, especially because both the Capricorn card and the Star card came up in the third eye reading. It is a really good time to do a lot of deep healing work, especially intuitive, because it's being asked of us in our lower chakras, is being asked for us to connect back, for us to do that work so we can see what directions we need to take. And that revelation might actually come very quickly this week. You might see the kind of push and actually the truth. You might actually have to accept all these swords in order for you to release them, but it might actually happen very quickly. And why is that? Now, Mars in Aries. That, you know, if you know an Aries, you know how fast they can get mad? That's how fast you might need to get over this, because there is that push there. There's a realization. It's like shaking earth and trying to, like, it's like trying to take back the seed that you planted. Don't, like, regret it. Just accept it. And start connecting back to yourself so you can see what it is that you want to do next. How are you going to move forward into the year? For the crown chakra, and this is very beautiful, we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Ten of Cups. And this is, what does this even tell you? This is like supreme level manifestation. and again, it's in the crown space. So if you, and this is in the blockage, right? So we're unable to get this because most of us are not in this space. We're not in the Magician space where we can control all these aces in order to achieve this level of happiness and satisfaction, because it's both the cards of these are happily ever after, emotional happily ever after with the Ten of Cups, and physical, in the physical realm, happily ever after, being emotionally and physically supplied for all of your needs. The Magician saying that you have the control and you built this and you have this and you can continue to reap the benefits from these two things. This is in the blockage because it is saying, hey, your power is lost because you are not using the tools that you need to use. You are not working with your spirit. You're letting your spirit be like, you're letting your body physically affect your spirit in this negative way because you're not using it. So the way you're using the water energy, because Pisces energy is very good for manifestation. Pisces are like some of the most powerful brujas that I know personally, and also powerful people, because they can manifest so easily. I've seen Pisces manifest things out of thin fucking air. Like, it's that crazy. But the thing is that if they get lost in their own ocean, they kind of lose that ability sometimes because they'll just get stuck in that one thing. That's why one of the things they say about Pisces is that, like, they always stay in love with their exes. So it's like, how are they ever going to bring anybody else in? And so when they meet somebody else, or when somebody else gets sent to them, they're still stuck on that other thing, even though they can still continue to build and kind of absorb different things into their space. They get stuck sometimes, but they're changeable, they're mutable signs. So it's kind of like, it's like that. You need to, when it comes to water energy, the cup suit, when it comes to that itself, it is very complicated, because I mean, the Pentacle suit is very complicated. All of the suits are very complicated, but some of them are a little bit more straightforward. When it comes to the cup suit, it's complicated because it deals with so many things. It deals with manifestation, love, emotions, your spirit, and how you are connecting back into your body. Do not forget that you yourself are like 75% water. So a lot of your physical form is built and nurtured in the spiritual realm. And so when there is a disconnect and a more like trying to ground in the physical, it gets lost. Like, you just get completely lost in that water, in that ocean, and you forget how to breathe. You forget how to swim up and catch your breath, come back into your conscious mind and say, hey, you know, I created this very beautiful space in this other world that I know that I've built down here. How am I going to make this happen? How can I take this energy and make it be something that I can actually touch, not just dream in my head? Because your head and your brain is such a powerful space, but like, you want to touch it too, right? You want to feel it too. You want to eat it. You want to taste what it feels like. Like, it has to be a balance of the two. It can't just be one, and it can't be just, it's very easy. It's like getting instant gratification, and it's really like kind of the best example I could give for this is kind of like watching porn, and how diluted our sexual energy has gotten in the physical realm now, like where you can actually sit and be with your body and like work on, you know, how you want to then come to, instead of actually doing that and spending time with your body and seeing what areas are reacting to your touch, to just putting on porn and then reacting to what you're seeing, because you don't even want to use your own imagination to make yourself come in the physical realm. So it just, there needs to be a balance energetically. There needs to be a shift. The best way to heal the crown chakra this week is the Seven of Swords and then the Lovers in reverse. And well, first of all, the Seven of Swords is really about reminding yourself and being on top of that hill and reminding yourself of your power, fighting back, fighting the energy, and understanding what is attacking you and why have you come up to that point in the hill where things are being, where you're being attacked by different things and you have to fight back. What are you fighting back? Look back at what you're doing to yourself. It's about reflection. It is about what got you on top of that hill in the first place. Why do you have to defend yourself? Why do you feel like you need to be up there? How are you gonna move away from that space? How are you gonna beat what is attacking you? And the Lovers in reverse, it's really, because this is a card of Gemini, and in reverse, it's about really coming into terms of like the clarity, because Gemini is very much, as a Gemini moon, I can definitely say this, we're very scattered. Okay, we can be very, very scattered. My thoughts, like my emotions are my thoughts. So for me, I have like 10 million thoughts per second. And so when it comes down to really sitting down and thinking, hey, okay, you know, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that. Like Virgo moons, or in Virgos are different because they still have, there's a grounding to their thoughts where they can actually reconnect back to the physical. And if I wasn't a Capricorn, it would be very easy. And I have a Capricorn steel element, it's still my brain. It's somewhere else. And it really has to come down to taking a lot of the messages and the ideas that I receive and focusing on one. Trying to pick a direction and pick, this is like picking one of the wands that is attacking you, picking one of the things that is coming forth and handling it as they come, each one by one, not like in a scattered way where you're like, because Gemini is like super free and like playful and like tricky, and no, this is about being strategic. This is about really being like tunnel vision focused on that one thing. Like as they come, address. This is what this is saying. As the energy is coming to you, as you are getting attacked, as you have to address every single one of these things that disappointed you, that where your spirit wasn't balanced, how those things are showing up for you and becoming an area of like basically an area of concern, a problem area, how you're going to address that clearly, carefully, tunnel vision, like on that Scorpio level, tunnel vision, like very much like, hey, okay, I see, you know, I let this get to this point. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to have to start doing this. Like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do this now. And just switching just being adaptable, but in a very clear way, like one at a time, not all at a time. Because Geminis, listen, Geminis can really kind of be everywhere at once. It's air energy. But this in reverse is, it's not about, and it's kind of funny that in the blockage you have the Magician, because this is Mercury. So this is really about using Mercury, that mercurial energy, one way, not in the way that air is necessarily, which is everywhere, but in a specific direction. and attacking things and addressing them as they come. And that's where that earth energy kind of comes into play, because the earth energy is asking you to plant the seed one by one, not just throw it around and like go around and just trying to make everything work. It's not about that. It's about one at a time. Like, okay, I'm going to give you my undivided attention. I'm going to give my body undivided attention. I'm going to make sure that I am healing my body. I'm giving time for my body to recuperate, to whether it is to like get back to a body that you feel comfortable with, that you feel flexible, that you feel like you're nurtured, like your body feels good, so your spirit feels good, your vessel feels good, for your spirit to sit in, stuff like that. Like, how are you going to get back to these big things that can seem like little things and little choices that you have to make, but they actually have a huge impact on you, how you feel, your spirit, all of the things. So let's do an oracle card for this week. And I suggest a lot of you, one, go look at where this eclipse is gonna fall for you. Whatever house it falls for you, it's really gonna kind of highlight the rest of the month, energy wise, and kind of the rest of the year as well, because this is a very grounding intention that you will be setting if you are working with the moon. Doing intentions during a Capricorn moon, it is crazy powerful. For me, it falls in my 6th house of health and serving others. So I'm actually going to be spending my weekend, because I'm going out, I'm going glamping with the girls, and for that on that specific day, and it's going to be kind of magical. There will be a vlog coming, so you guys will see it, but there will be a ritual done and all this stuff, because you already know I am not going to waste that moon. But it falls on my 6th house, and a lot of it is just kind of really start the year and to help the girls start the year feeling powerful and cleansed, and like they have in a good place. And that's what a lot of this year is going to be for me. It's going to be serving others and how I help others heal, and I hope that I continue to help you guys find your way and heal in many different ways. But I'm starting the year like that, and I know that the year will continue to be a healing experience that I will be sharing and gifting to others. And I'm very aware of that's where it's falling. I'm very aware, and I'm ready. I know this year is going to be a powerful year for me growth wise. My whole entire Capricorn stellium is in my 6th house, so I'm going to be spending a lot of my life helping the masses and one-on-one helping people. So I'm setting the intentions for that as well, and it's all a part of the journey. I know this year, especially with Jupiter, because that's the thing, like you look at your chart and you see where you're kind of getting called to do certain things, but then you also see where the universe is kind of gifting you other things. Because I'm going through my Saturn return right now, and it's honestly been I don't want to say a piece of cake, but it's kind of been easy too for me, just because when having that Capricorn stellium gives you gives me the ability to be at one with my own energy, because I am Saturn. That's just a part of who I am. I have his energy. I have my entire existence is embodying his energy in different ways. And so why should I be afraid of myself and what I do? I do this naturally, you know what I mean? So having kind of this, kind of him watching over my and transiting in certain ways, and kind of putting my direction and my focus in this area, it's mostly been just about me really focusing on the healing of others and myself as well. Healing myself so then I can help others heal. And when you understand what it's about, it's like, oh yeah, that's fine. But others just like to be like, oh my god, is my Saturn return is gonna be so bad and all this stuff, when at the end of it, at the end of those 2-3 years, you end up being like, you know what, I needed that. Like I needed that regrounding. I needed to be replanted, and that's really what it is, repotting yourself elsewhere, where you're needed to grow. And it's a blessing. It's a really big blessing. So I've been taking it like as cake. I had a great 2018, and I'm gonna have a great 2019. It's especially with Jupiter going in my house of pleasure. So I'm going to be doing, you know, helping others, but I'm also going to be having the best time. So use the energy as you see. Use the energy, like, how is it that you really want to accept the cards that you're being dealt with? You can either, like, bitch and moan, or you can see how is a blessing in disguise, how you needed it. I feel like a lot of people are taught to daydream, but they're not taught to do anything about them, how to come out of those daydreams. That's not Pisces energy. I honestly feel like Pisces people are just very sacred to me, especially, but they're very sacred, and I feel like a lot of the time they just need to be left alone so they can create this wonderful universe and come out and share that with the world. And that's why art exists, by the way. Thank you, Pisces. But I feel like people need to function in their own way. They need to make their own path. They need to follow their own energy. So if you're an artist, go do art. If you're a speaker and you need to speak, find your outlet. If you are a writer, give yourself time to write. If you oh, hold on. Oh, damn it. Hopefully I did not just burn the hell out of myself. If you are a healer, heal yourself so then you can help others heal. The bottom of the deck is Metamorphosis. If you are lacking love, go on that love journey. Ask for love. Ask for love to be shown to you so that you can learn how to love yourself first before others. Or you can call someone in to make you end up loving yourself. And a lot of people kind of fall in that trap too. That's one of the other issues. It gets stuck in the fantasy, and that's like that, again, that's that Pisces energy. A lot of people want to find the one, want to find their soulmate, wants to find all these things, and then they get so traumatized by the lesson that they bring, instead of seeing it for what they are. And it's about not falling for illusions at the end of the day, and allowing yourself, trusting yourself enough to not fall for illusions at the end of the day, and really saying, hey, you know what? That person was a lesson. And I've done this all my life since I was a little kid. I've always been able to discern what is a lesson and what is not, who is a lesson and who is not, who's meant to stay in my life and who is not. Why? Because again, I have that Saturnian energy. I can see lessons from a mile away. I could be in a room full of people and they're telling me their story, and I love hearing people tell me stories, especially as a Gemini moon. But I love hearing people tell me stories, and I always sit there and I'm like, oh, that person was, and they're like just telling me about all these things, and I'm like, you could just tell. But some people get fooled by that veil. Instead of seeing how their whole life is a beautiful, beautiful story. But sometimes a book ends and it's not a series. Sometimes it is a series, but sometimes that book has to end. Those characters have to die and remain dead, and you need to continue moving forward into the next thing. Sometimes you need to accept the lessons that have come to you. Sometimes you need to accept your shifts. Allow yourself to grow. Society has done this enough about trying to make life seem like it's you grow up, you go to school to then go to more school. After you go to more school and you graduate from school having mad debt, then you go into college. You go into work. You either find you're supposed to find who you love either in any of those places, and then marry that person, have kids, and then like spend the rest of your life in a house working, and then when you're finally done, you get to keep the house and you're rocking by thinking about your life. And then in between that, you end up having a midlife crisis, because then you actually ended up realizing that you should have done a whole bunch of stuff in your life that you didn't end up doing, because they've created illnesses for themselves. The past generations have created many illnesses for themselves because they have not lived their lives to the fullest potential, so all they can do is feel bad. And so once you get to that point, past your midlife crisis when you had to kind of accept that you can't go back and change the things that you wish you kind of could have changed. You went for that dream, did something to make yourself feel better, made different choices. Then you have to accept that you're gonna die. And that's kind of when Pluto comes in, and it don't feel so good when it's later on in your life. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. And I mean, I'm an old soul, so I know time works a little bit different with me personally, because I can also see my family members. My mom always says I was like, since I was little, she's been saying that I'm cold for saying this, but when I was little, one of the things that I used to do was that I kind of looked around the room, and my family were all there, and it was kind of like this weird kind of movie sequence for me where I was just like looking around, and I'm like, when I'm like 25, this person's gonna be dead, that person's gonna be this age, they're gonna be close, this person is definitely gonna be dead. And I kind of had to, it was really like the moment where I had to accept what death was. And that's kind of when I accepted what like letting go was. So I don't have a problem letting go, because I did it at a very, very young age. I mean, that comes from having, you know, Scorpio in the 4th house. But in many ways, it's a gift, because it's kind of like going through a midlife crisis when you're younger. But it wasn't a crisis. It was just more like, oh, so that's how life is. And that's Saturn energy for me. It's more like accepting the fact that that's how time is going to work. It's an acceptance of the time, that's how it's going to be used, how it's an inevitable consequence of breathing and being alive. It's going to end at some point. So I just sat with it, and I was like, okay, cool. I guess we'll get there when I get there. And as I grew, same thing. All the people I thought would be passing past. I'm so proud of my grandma. She lived so long. She was 103 when she died. She was the oldest, and she outlived like almost all of her brothers and sisters, and some of her own children, most of her own children, some of her own children. She was powerful as hell. But in the end, you can't sit there and pity yourself. Well, you can, but it's not gonna feel good. So do things that make you feel good. Like genuine things that make you feel good. Not things that you think will make you feel good if you get it, but things that actually just make you bring you joy. And accept the way time works. Even if a form of it is spent in illusions, and your brain is such a beautiful and powerful place where time does not exist, but your brain catches up to your body at some point. So let it be when you are conscious. Let it be when you're conscious, when you come back and you're able to like really swim between both. You jump off that boat anytime and say, you know what, I want to just fall asleep and have a beautiful, beautiful dream. Trigger those dreams, and then come back and say, you know what, this is what I really want to do in my life. This is where I want to do it this year. It could just be a simple, even if a simple goal would do, whether it's eating right, whatever it is, whether it's traveling more. Our generation is meant to break a lot of these social nonsense BS rules. It's a breaking of tradition is what our generation is supposed to do. That's why we have these Capricorn placements in the generational planets, and why Pluto is in Scorpio. Like, it's like, hey, y'all need to reset this, because this whole work till you die 9 to 5 situation ain't working. It just ain't. It just ain't. And there's so many studies that have been coming out that just keep proving that it just ain't working. So if you know it ain't working, stop trying to do what everybody else has been trying to do. Do you. Do you. Be your own hero in your own goddamn movie. That's the best way I can put it right now. Okay, so the first one, the first card that came out, because I pulled 3. I figured I'd treat you guys because this reading is like an hour long. Is unexpected visitors. If you expect the unexpected, you'll be prepared for miracles. Detours, surprises, and paradigm shifts. Expect the unexpected. No matter how detailed your plans are and how clear you believe the road to be ahead, there are times when the best plans are waylaid by unforeseen circumstances. At first, detours may seem inconvenient, but a surprise turn of events signals that the adventure of life is beginning to get interesting. No one can plan out for synchronicity, for fate and destiny to meet, except Spirit, who knows what you can't comprehend for now. Life is full of surprises, so stay on your toes and enjoy this exciting new adventure you weren't expecting. There is a plan for your life that may not match up with your agenda. Why do I do tarot readings? Maybe this year I really need to just go to oracle readings. I don't know. We're gonna figure that out. I'm gonna have to like consult the lords of the records on that, but I'm pretty sure they want me to keep doing these for you guys. Okay. Then we have coming to life. Something beautiful is being born into your life. When you look at your life, can you see how you've grown and evolved over time? Perhaps you have shed skin and identities and created new ones, or at the very least matured in your ideas about yourself and the world you inhabit. You know things take time, and Spirit timetable is rarely in sync with your own. This card indicates that a long-held dream is beginning to show signs of life. You must try not to I'm saying that wrong. It along the way, or shape it according to your desires. Spirit knows the best form of the manifestation of this dream, and your life can become even better than you could possibly imagine. Now at the time for reverence and awe. Allow the contours of your life to be carved by the hands of the divine. All you have to do is show up. Why do I do tarot readings? Questioning my life now. Questioning everything. Everything will be questioned. Okay. Then lastly, we have Magical Map Shifter. Spirit orchestrates everybody's destiny. You see how all these cards have like the same mess? Okay. When the Magical Map Shifter card arrives, it comes with a mission to make you aware of the people who come into your life to impact your personal growth. Perhaps you meet a soulmate whose presence invites you to be the best you that you can be. A lot of people miss that point. Or someone who leads you out of a difficulty into a place of safety and success. Pay attention to those individuals who cross your paths today and cause you to reflect on your journey. Be awake and aware, and you'll recognize them for the important change agents that they are. Your whole perspective is about who you are and why you're still here will shift. The magical map shifter always indicates you into a better version of yourself. This is Saturn, by the way. It's very much Saturn. It's very much like, hey, that person was a lesson. Hey, this, I mean, if you work with your Earth placements, especially if you have Capricorn placements, I recommend working with it more often in different ways, because a lot of people just be like, look, I have Capricorn in this area, that means I'm gonna be working hard in this area. No, boo. No. Start paying attention to what that area is telling you, because that could be a very karmic area for you. It can be very much especially if you have Saturn in the 7th house, it could be an area where you can see so much transformation if you let it, because Saturn doesn't want you to be miserable. And a lot of people like to think that Saturn is just like the guy that wants you to just be pissed all the time and have a miserable life. He's just like, hey, I'm just trying to set you up so you could be fine. You're not fine. I see you're not fine, and I'm trying to help you, but I can't help you the way you want to like create this thing, because that's not the way. You need to first do this, understand this, integrate this into yourself before you can be this thing that you want to be. So, Happy New Year. I hope that you guys enjoy it. By the time this video uploads, it's gonna be like, it's probably gonna be New Year's. But I will definitely see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I hope you guys got some healing out of it. I hope that you do the work this week and you connect back to yourself and set some clear intentions for this year. Like, screw the stupid fake resolutions BS that you only do every year and then you don't end up doing. Set an intention. It could just be one. Whether it's just, I want to connect back to my spirit. That's what I really want to get out of this year. That's where I really want to see. I don't want to be mad about this year at the end of the year. Because I hate it when people, I scroll to Twitter and everybody's like, oh my god, 2018 was such a great year. 2019, you better be great. You better be this. You better do all these expectations. And I'm like, some years will be lessons. Some years are necessary where they're not going to feel good. But if you see that they're lessons, you'll actually feel good because you passed, boo. Like, you may not see the gold star that's above that grade because you don't get to see this, like, the test and the score, and you don't get to see it that way, but you passed. Congratulations. Move. Thank you next. Like, if 2018 taught you anything, it should be thank you next. Like, as simple as that is. Thank you next. Don't hate. Don't intentionally set intentions for this year to be like anything other than what it will be. Just be open to what's to come, and with that openness, set an intention to remain open to what it is. Whether it be your spirit healing, your body healing, your heart healing, whichever chakra you need to focus on, address it. And let your life unfold in front of you the way it's meant to. So, I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. All my links and stuff will be down below. I will see you guys next week because I'm still going to be doing the reading. My birthday is on Tuesday, of next week on the 8th. So I will still be posting, but I might not be posting as often, so stay tuned. But there's more to come. I'm really excited. I have a lot of plans for this YouTube channel, so yeah.